All right, guys. Well, welcome to Deltasig Storytime, Meet the RVPs. We have three of our fraternity's lovely RVPs from three of the provinces here with us. We have Cody Heimerdinger from the Sierra Nevada region in the province on the left side of the map. We have Mr. Kenneth from East Central region in Ohio, and Anna Trenshaw from Huron region, which has majority of the state of Michigan. First thing first, we're just gonna ask the RVPs to kind of tell you a little about themselves, their RVP journey. Just a quick introduction, and then we'll get straight to the questions that some people have sent in prior and are actively sending in now. And I think, Kenneth, didn't you win the straw poll to go first?
Possibly, but yeah, I can go first. As Vito said, I'm Kenneth W, the East Central Regional Vice President. Been in the role not really that long. I think it's now 6-7 months, give or take. So as many as you have been learning your positions on the executive committees, I'm also learning different little curveballs, but it's been a good journey. Just like meeting all the different chapters, both in my area, but then also across the US. That's one nice thing that's came out of COVID, is being able to meet other chapters in a different perspective. Yes, looking forward to what's coming up, but who knows what's gonna go on. A little backstory for me, for my 2-minute intro. I was initiated in Beta Pi back in 2003. While there, I was the VP of Finance. Also done some stuff with the historian and the marketing position, so dabbled in a few different areas. After graduation in 2005, I had taken a few years off of DSP, then came back and worked as a DD for Xi Upsilon. That lasted for, I think, 2 years. And then again, I kind of dwindled off, as a lot of alumni do. Then in 2017, basically, I got hit to the left and the right from serious medical issues. After that, the one thing that I was kept on thinking about, even laying in the hospital bed, was DSP. That's on the side of when I was not working on oxygen on a laptop in the hospital bed. And Vito, whenever he sees me next, he's definitely going to hit me for that one. But it was like, I need to get back re-involved. And it was probably 6 months after being out of the hospital, went to the initiation at Beta Pi. And after that, it's like, I need to get re-involved. And that's kind of where James, the previous RVP, had kind of connected with me. It's like, hey, aren't you close to Athens? It's like, well, yeah, it's like I'm about an hour away. It's like, hey, we need a DD over there. So kind of got involved with them. And here I am, what would it be like 4.5 years later, I think. Got re-involved, staying active. Some days are more challenging than others, but it's a good experience. And I like meeting everybody.
Copy. And Kenneth's also not this last year or the previous year, the Northeastern DD of the year. So you walked in
last year.
So he gets that, and then he becomes the RVP for the region. Yeah. Which wasn't that when you were Alpha Omicron's DD?
Yes.
Is that the year? Alpha Omicron.
Now wouldn't it be funny if Alpha Omicron's DD got that this year?
I don't know who their DD is, but okay. Well, with that being said, why don't we travel a bit north of you, and Anna, your turn.
Hi everyone, I'm Anna Trenshaw, the Huron RVP. Thanks, Vito, for having us tonight. A little bit about me. I attended Grand Valley State University. I pledged in 2012 and graduated in 2016 from Grand Valley. And then in 2017, I ran for RVP in, was it New Orleans? I think it was New Orleans. And I unfortunately lost to another brother who was more than qualified. He did a great job. Unfortunately, he had to step down. And so I actually won an interim race for RVP of the Huron region in spring-ish of 2018. And I've been RVP ever since. So I am happy to serve in my home region and happy to be here tonight.
Awesome. What's funny is me and Anna have become good buddies since then, but in New Orleans when she ran, I did the intro speech for one of the people that she ran against. So quite the full circle moment at this point. And last but not definitely not least, our troublemaker in the West that we love so dearly, Mr. Cody Heimerdinger, Sierra Nevada. Floor is your brother.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks, Vito, for hosting, putting all this together. To introduce myself, as Vito said, my name is Cody Heimerdinger. I am from the Sierra Nevada region. I'm always been in the Sierra Nevada region, graduating from the University of Nevada up in here in Reno, which is where I currently live. And yeah, and my journey to the kind of RVP spot is I decided to, before I was RVP, I was a district director for the University of Nevada chapter, Delta Pi. And there was one instance where the region, we kind of was very, put my foot in the door of kind of coordinating like a big regional initiation. It was at UC Merced. It was the first initiation as an actual chapter. And I decided to go, my chapter that I was DD for, they decided they wanted to do their own thing on their own campus. So I just kind of went by myself. And from that point, it was like, well, if I'm just going to go by myself, why not just throw my name in the hat for RVP? And that's when I ran for RVP in New Orleans, like Anna, and ran in a contested election, and then was able to, the delegates at the time in New Orleans, they liked me. So they ended up voting for me. So I was like, well, thank you guys. Now what am I gonna do for the next 2 years? No, they loved me. And so I love solving in capacity, just kind of seeing how much of a resource I could be for our collegiate chapters and alumni chapters as well, and kind of how to bring kind of that bridge between the alumni group and the collegiate group.
So you're saying did you run against your sitting RVP in 2017?
I didn't even mention that, but yes, I did. In 2017, it was a contested election against my former regional vice president. When I first joined the fraternity, I ran Mar Hoyos, if anybody knows who he is. But yeah.
So he walked in and not only won a contested race, but won against the incumbent of that race. I'll take note of that. We always knew Cody was gutsy, but I don't think any of us knew that he was that gutsy. Well, just saying, the reason, I like doing the Deltasig story times, and something I've noticed, I currently DD for all three of these guys at the same time. They're quite different from each other in their RVP styles. They're also quite different as brothers. It'd be interesting and also some of my colleagues started asking questions about their RVPs, personally and fraternally. And I was just like, how about y'all ask them all together? And I actually would be interested to see how different their answers are. So thus, this was born. And we'll just start off with something on the fraternal slope. And you guys have been told about this question coming, but two of your collegiate chapters would love to know, besides their CMP status and obeying risk management and things of that nature, they're all still brothers, just like we commonly say we're all brothers. Do you guys as RVPs, because I guess they've heard some horror stories from other regions, do you guys care about them as your brothers, or are they just collegiate chapters that you have to get what you want out of until they become alumni? They said it that way, not me. I'm just reading what my board says. But whoever wants to go first, may.
I'm gonna say, since nobody else went off of mute, thanks. I guess I'll go first. For me, no, it's not just because of CMP, accreditation, doing these check boxes. It is more about each chapter growing, each brother learning who they are, because there's a difference between going from elementary school, middle school, high school to college. It's figuring out who you are. That's the biggest thing. Yes, we may push all these different objectives onto each of the chapters and certain brothers. Probably some of them think it's like, well, you're just nagging us. But even some of the standards are whenever you get into the business world, these are all the things that your supervisors and managers will look for. So it's just learning those best practices. But it's also at the end, it's you got to be you. Each chapter is unique, each brother is unique, and always want the best for everybody. And if there's ever a point that I really don't care about this, come to us. Let's talk about it, because we never know how to change unless you come to us. Because again, I'll say, I initiated back in 2003. Things have changed dramatically in the past 20 years, i.e. I'm old. So, and Vito agreed with that. But it's like, everything is ever evolving, especially with COVID. It's evolving even quicker and faster than we ever thought of. So things change, we need to grow with it. And if there's ever a point that Kenneth, just back off, tell me, Kenneth, back off, and I will. And then I'm going to give this over to Anna.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that when we think about us as RVPs and expecting so much of collegiates, I think that I like to remind myself of like what our job is, right? And one of the things that we do is we're here to help bridge the gap or bridge the communication between central office and collegiates. So I think that it can probably seem like that's our only priority, but kind of like Kenneth said, it's really not. You know, at the end of the day, we're brothers, and there's more important stuff than DSP. You know, we're in the middle of a pandemic right now, and health is important and more important than a lot of other things that we also have to look at as being part of this organization. So yeah, I don't think that CMP and all of those things come before our brotherhood.
Oh, dang, you guys left me speechless on that one. You have anything to add, Mr. Heimerdinger?
Not that much. That's already been said, but definitely brotherhood definitely comes first. One of the reasons why I became an RVP is to also remind me of my own collegiate experience and how much fun it was, how much fun that I had with it. CMP is only more of like a guideline in a sense of a certain minimum requirement that chapters like need to manage themselves. But I think I like to kind of think of my role too as kind of motivating the CMP so that collegiate chapters not only complete it, but get value from it. And so the more value that they're getting from the requirements, the less it's going to seem like the RVPs like CMP Nazis or something. We're trying to just do nothing but be on chapters cases about CMP's late, CMP's not turned in or something like that. But it's more about just adding the value of finding the value for chapters for those requirement items.
I'm getting the thumbs up text from some of your collegiates, so I think they're happy with those answers. So good job, guys. To make it a little bit more funny, with some of the funny questions your undergrads show up in, so it's not all serious. Would you rather fight a 50-pound? Would you rather fight a 50 crab-sized elephant or one elephant-sized crab? 50 crabs that are the size of elephants, or one elephant that is Size of a crab. Those are your collegians, not mine.
I guess I'll go with this one first. The first thing that popped in my mind, looking at the crabs as a dog, do I want to have an ankle biter around me or do I want to have a bull mastiff? I'd rather have the crab that's the size of the elephant, other than, was it 50?
50 crab size elephant.
Yeah, 50 crab size elephants. That'd just be way too many. So I'll just take the one big one and I'll take my chances. But then again, I like Sarah's answer too.
Cody, Anna, you wanna? It was actually one of your chapters that put that one in, Anna. So I think you need to respond.
I think I'm with Kenneth on this one. I would just take the one crab size elephant
Copy.
or whatever. I can't get the questions straight.
You'll take one animal versus 50, basically.
Yes, that is it.
Cody, are you fighting the 50 crabs or just going for one?
I'm just going for the one. I could take on the elephant.
You heard it here, guys. I don't know what. If any of your chapters mention elephants, if y'all go visit them, I think y'all might want to worry though, or crabs or something. I don't know. What are your spirit animals?
My spirit animal is, I like to say that my spirit animal is a dolphin, because dolphins are super intelligent. And in my profession, I'm a CPA. I do taxes, tax accountant, and kind of like to think myself as intelligent and being a resource for the community and the general public of finances and the accounts. And also, I love the water as well. I love being now, obviously, North Nevada's landlocked, but love being up in Lake Tahoe in the summertime, being able to swim to that freezing lake. Yeah.
Cool. What about you, Anna?
My spirit animal is a dog, not only because they're probably my favorite animal, but I think that I can be loyal and helpful and intuitive when it comes to others.
I'd actually agree with that one.
Thanks.
What about you, Kenneth?
I don't know. To me, what kind of relaxes me is what I think of spirit animal is just fish. Because I have a 75-gallon saltwater tank and I have a 25-gallon freshwater tank. Just kind of relaxing, peaceful at the end of the day. Sometimes need it.
Copy. Back with your RVP hats for a moment here. We've been in a pandemic the past couple of years, and your chapters want to know, since many of them have their members who have been initiated, or more than half the chapter has been initiated under the current pandemic. What are your thoughts on virtual events? You know, if in your perfect world, would you have it to be a way where there still could be virtual events? You know, maybe not all of them, but still have that hybrid model for maybe the leads, the GCCs. Do you think chapters should still try to do some virtual community service and professional events even when the pandemic finally passes? You know, what are your feelings on that?
I can take this one first. I think that we have to find the balance, right? I think that there's a lot of things that we've been doing virtually, which has been great. I know I've heard the terms zoomed out and Zoom fatigue. So hopefully very soon we can continue, especially with these lead provincials coming up, be in person and you know, connect in person. But I also think that some of the virtual things we've done and continue to do have brought really good value to our organization. I mean, I've been able to connect with, for example, Vito, who's in a different side of the country, and same with Cody and Kenneth. You know, there's different events that we can put on that in the virtual world we can have much more, many more opinions and different people and perspectives. So yeah, I think there's still a benefit to it. I think that moving forward, it would be great to have this as an option. I don't know if that should be our primary way of staying connected, but I think it's a great option.
Then I'll kind of lead off with that. I think if you would have said 3 years ago that we would be doing this much Zoom, Teams, or whatever application that you want to use, I would have thought you would have been crazy. I'm going to go back to when I was teaching as an adjunct instructor. It used to be that it was you would be in class or you wouldn't be going to school. Then it's like, okay, some places were able to do online classes. Those are a lot of classes that teaching online, I'm sorry, you're reading a book if you're teaching online. But I think having the hybrid model is, I think, very beneficial. That's going with if you're in school, if you're in work, or actually curricular activities. Because there are sometimes like a lot of people, when they get out of college, they're going to be parents. When you have kids, gonna guarantee you're gonna have at least one sick kid sometime. So it's okay, your employer, you're gonna take a day off, do you have sick time? Hey, if you can stay home and you can still be productive and work, but still take care of your kid, hey, at least you have some flexibility. Same thing with events. I think going forward, do I see this pandemic ending in the next 30 years? No. I suspect it would be here, I'm being realistic, 20 plus years. As bad? No. But I think having the options of, yes, we're going to be doing this event in person, but hey, we're going to add in this hybrid event, this hybrid option with this event. So certain activities, hey, you can at least see what we're doing, or you can participate in something. So I think over time, things will evolve into what will be the new normal, which will have some type of capability. And again, we all have a phone with us. Well, I'm going to say at least 99% of the people have a phone with us. So when you have that, you're going to have some capability. And I won't say if I haven't been driving down I-77 or I-70, having the phone on some meeting while I'm driving back from somewhere. Nobody should do that, by the way, but I have, but it makes it convenient. You're at least still able to stay there, and I can also get home at a decent time. So just kind of things, it's going to evolve, figure out what's going to be the new norm, but it's going to be here with us.
Hey, Cody, here's one straight for you from some of your alumni and DD team. What's the best marathon you've participated in?
The best marathon I participated in? The best marathon is definitely the Sacramento marathon. The reason why is because it was pretty much all downhill. It was only really a few spots that were uphill, and I've done it like the fastest ever. Kind of blowing my own mind how fast I could actually go on a full marathon. That was actually my first marathon too. And so when I say fastest marathon, I really mean like it kind of blew my mind how fast I could go like the first half without not stopping and just keep going another 13. It was like blew my mind on that accomplishment.
Okay. Well, this one came from Cody's alumni DD team again, but this one's for all three of you. What are your alumni in your regions and your DD teams specifically? Oh, wait. What do your DD teams and the alumni in your region mean to you? And since it's targeting Cody, You can start, Mr. Heimerdinger.
I think they mean everything to me, really. I think without them, I wouldn't have a local resource to fall back on and check up with the chapter too. Generally, I like to ask the DDs before I like to reach out to the chapters on if there's any questions or if there's any issues that I need to be aware of, or yeah.
And what about the just general alumni in your region that aren't volunteer leaders?
The general alumni,
Yeah.
like the alumni chapters.
Well, not everyone in your
and-
region is part of an alumni chapter.
Right, we're just
You love them too?
yeah, I love them too. I love all of them.
Okay, they only call, so you just know you're on record saying that, by the way. What about you? What about you, Anna?
Yeah, kind of like Cody, the district directors in the Huron region are who allow me to be so effective as RVP. I think that it's really helpful to get a better sense of how chapters on specific campuses operate, and as RVP, it'd be difficult to do that, getting that close-up look at different ways that chapters operate on each campus. So it is helpful to have that help. And then yeah, I mean, just alumni in general. I know that there's a lot of different alumni who don't necessarily have the DD position, but they are in the Huron region and willing to step up and help out however they can, whether it's just one time at a chapter event, or maybe they consistently go to chapter events to help them out with different things. It's really helpful across the board.
Copy. And Kenneth, with you being the new RVP, what's your perspective with your, I guess, still new DD team?
I gotta say, yeah, for me, the alumni in the area, even my DD team, it gives me the history of this area, this region, looking at how each chapter operates, challenges that they've had. Even some of the DDs have been DDs of other chapters. So it's kind of interesting to get different perspectives on this is how it was then, this is how it is now. But in the end of the day, it's everybody is here for the same purpose of helping out each brother. So to me, it's just a good companionship, good way of being able to have friends, but then also getting the job done.
Copy. One of your collegiates asks, what has been a challenge for you as an RVP? What's one of the challenges that you've faced as an RVP that you can talk about? And how are you handling, or how did you overcome that situation or dealing with that? Whoever wants to answer that can go ahead.
What was the question again? Can you say that again?
What is a challenge that you had to face as an RVP or are facing as an RVP, and how are you handling it, or how did you overcome and handle it? I know at least two of you have had some challenges that you've triumphantly came over, man. So don't make me put you on the spot.
I can start with one. This is the first one that came to mind. I don't know if it's the one you're thinking of, Vito. But something that we struggle with in Huron in general is just having volunteers, whether it is for district director positions. I mean, I know I just talked about how great district directors are and alumni volunteers are, and that's still true, but sometimes it's difficult to get people to help out. The people we do have are great. Sometimes in the areas we need more assistance with, it's difficult. So how I'm overcoming that is just trying to continue to network and use connections of brothers to get other people involved. Really, that's what we're working on in Huron.
Okay, that's good. You actually done very well at that with what you have, Anna. So I do
Thank
commend
you.
you on that.
I appreciate
Uh,
that.
What about you, Mr. Heimerdinger?
Well, the first, let's see. The first thing that came to mind was when the chapter at Sacramento State kind of forced on suspension. And then when they ended the suspension, that was a challenge, just trying to figure out who in the chapter is still interested in kind of bringing it back from a chapter of 2 to a chapter of 6 and just continuing to grow it from there. And I think and right now the chapter's doing great. The chapter's seeing consistent small growth, and I think that's a positive outlook to it.
You did. You handled that very well. You and Lauren are handling Epsilon 5 very well. So I think everyone's proud of you for that one. Did you have one to share, Kenneth, or?
I'm gonna say just for me, it's just trying to work with all the different chapters. I seem like I've had some unique challenges on my first term in office, both term as in biennium and also the first semester. But it's just working with each chapter in their own uniqueness. And each one gives its own challenges, but I think I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I think you guys are all very good RVPs in your own special little ways. So 99.9% of the time. The other 0.1% of the time, y'all can have your chapters back. No, I love them. I'll stay.
We're gonna hold you to that.
So the chapters are gonna hold me to that one. What are your quickly? What are your careers like? What do you guys do for a living? Your collegians want to know.
Well, I already mentioned some of it. I'm a
Yeah,
CPA.
You're a CPA.
Yeah.
You're a CPA, and then Anna, you're
I work in IT at Steelcase, which is an office furniture manufacturing company. I work with SAP, if anyone's familiar with that.
And then I do retirement plan services at the local bank, People's Bank. Just got that position 10.5 months ago. And it's the best decision I've ever made so far.
what's your dream job? This can be dream as in attainable or dream just like you dream to be that.
Stay at home dog mom.
I mean, you're halfway there. You're an Instagram dog mom, so I mean, what about you? What about you, Kenneth?
I don't know. My dream job has changed so many times over the years. I'm just enjoying what I'm doing now. So maybe work the way up, maybe financial advisor. It's kind of what I wanted to do 20 years ago. But things had changed. So who knows where the next 5 years is going to bring me.
Amen to that. Cody.
My dream job. I am in my dream job. I dreamed to be a CPA since I was in kindergarten. That was my kindergarten graduation. What do you want to be? I want to be an accountant. No, but seriously, I do want to be a CPA. I want to own my own CPA business, kind of branch out and kind of be one of the biggest CPA offices in Northern Nevada and expanded to all of Nevada and going into even California as well.
Nice, bro.
On a side note, there's a really great YouTube video that I recommend everybody watch. It's I want to be a tax accountant when I grow up. That'll
Oh,
inspire you
Lord.
to be a tax accountant. So if you want to be a tax accountant, watch that video.
Oh, Lord. Oh, I think they're trying to hit you in the gut here. What is something you want your collegiate chapters to know that you think they don't know about you as their RVP? Or maybe something that maybe they misconstrue about you or an RVP that you would love to just say or address or whatever.
I think this was kind of related to the first question we had about CMP and all that, but I would like collegiates to know that I'm here to help with more than just DSP stuff. You know, some of the connections that I have among alumni brothers are professional networking connections, and I'd be more than happy to help any collegiate with anything they're going through with school or trying to find an internship or a job. If anyone wants to do something similar to what I do, I'd love to be able to help brothers in more than just DSP.
Good point. They're still, all three of them are successful professionals. So, you know, they're not just there to help you try to get CMP done or whatever the case may be. They actually have some professional use there. What about you, Kenneth?
Kind of going down a similar path, but going with able to help, trying to network with other people. But it's also, if you need to have a ear to talk with, need a shoulder to cry on, you just need to vent, you need to yell. I've worked in customer service, I've worked in human resources, business office, so I'm used to people yelling at me, crying, or whatever it is. Just know that we, at least for me, I'm assuming both for Anna and Cody and Vito, same way. If you need us, even if it's non-DSP related, more than welcome to reach out. Like, heck, I put my cell phone on any email that goes out, and anybody that doesn't have my cell phone number, let me know and I'll give it to you. But we're always here to be able to talk with, especially being somebody that doesn't know you directly. At least for most of you on the line, I don't know a lot of you directly. Sometimes it's easier to be able to open up and talk. So if there's ever a point that you're just feeling down and out, please just reach out. Now, if it's during the business hours, I do work in a bank, so I have the typical banking hours. Leave me a message and I'll look at it. And if it's something like, oh, wait a second, this here doesn't seem right, I'll step away and I'll come and be able to talk with you. Or if it's at night, it's on the weekend. Just know that it's just not about DSP, not just about CMP, just not about the chapter. We're here to help you as a human, as a brother, as a friend.
Well said. Well said. Do you want to chime in, Cody?
Yeah, I'll chime in. One thing that I was thinking about is I love hearing from every single brother in the region too. So whenever I hear from a collegiate or an alumni, I get an email or text or even social media messenger. It doesn't really matter how. I always get like some sort of like excitement kind of attaches to me. It was like, ooh, somebody wants to talk to me. Yay, I have friends, I have brothers. And then so from there, I'm just happy to help and just happy to share what I know and try to help explain what my experience was, and kind of hope that my experience helps kind of reciprocates to whoever's reaching out to me, their experience as well. Yeah.
So what you're saying is asking for a friend who just might be me. If a collegiate chapter wants to share a great thing that they did, like getting a shout out on social media, a great event they're doing, their DD doesn't need to send that to you. They can just send that themselves. It doesn't need to be a middleman there, right?
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what I'm saying. So it doesn't need to be a middleman.
Yeah.
But if a chapter wants me to send a shout out on social media, just reach out to me. I'll make that happen.
So instead of emailing their DD, hey, can you send this to Cody or Anna or Kenneth? This is what we're planning to doing, or this is the shout out we got. I could just tell them, just send it to them directly and just CC me. Is that what you're saying? Do we just send it?
Exactly.
I hope you heard that on the line. I hope you heard that on the line. No, I'll always forward it to them. I like bragging about my chapters when I have something to brag about, but yeah. Well, what do you, oh, here we go. Do you guys have any advice for any alumni nationwide or in your regions that are new alumni and they're looking to stay involved? And in parentheses says, be mindful of the reality of the situation of being involved and trying to get involved.
I guess I'll start off with make sure that we have your correct information. That's one thing that I have learned. I had actually got a list of everybody that was around the Columbus area on a radius report. I won't say if I might have sent out maybe roughly 520 emails. A third of them came back as undeliverable. So make sure to update your emails. And I'll even use myself as an example. Even after I became an RVP, I thought I had went on to the central office website, updated all my information. Yeah, I still had an old phone number on it. Didn't even realize until I actually went in and actually looked at my profile. So even me, and I had that number like 15 years ago, so it was pretty obvious, like, oh, that might be right. But just making sure that we have your information. And if you want to be involved, being involved does not mean that you're going to be spending 10 hours a week doing some activity. It could be that you want just to help out to review the award application. That's going to be a few weeks in January, and probably more like maybe 10 to 15 hours in like, I think it's mid-June to mid-July of reviewing, and that's it. So not much time commitment. Or if you just want to, hey, I want to help out some chapter, I want to be a speaker for the chapter. That could just be a few hours here or there. So there's many opportunities to be able to help out once you do become an alumni. Just let us know what your ideas are. And it might be that in my region, I may not have something, but now since we have virtual, there might be another region that might be able to have assistance. So just whatever your interest is, we can definitely find something for you.
Yeah, they'll find something for you. You find the right RVP, they'll find something for you. All I'm gonna say is that's 100% true. And these are three great people to work next to, under, however that pyramid works. Any other quick tips? Oh, well, here it kind of goes with the question 2 minutes ago, but what would you like your, oh man, we set ourselves up for failure with this question, DDs, come on. What would you like your DDs to know that they maybe don't know or understand about you? I'm gonna act like I'm not one of your DDs when I say this and not mad at the DD who sent this in.
What do you want the DDs to know?
I'll fall on the sword on this one. If me being your DD, what would you want me to know that maybe I don't understand or know? Or some of the DDs that you just don't talk to that often? I don't know. All I'm gonna say is that question should have been texted to that RVP, probably.
I think it kind of goes back to our,
Go ahead.
I think it kind of goes back to the other question you asked about, like, what do district directors and volunteers mean for you? Like, I just know that I couldn't do some of the work that I do as RVP without Vito's help at some of these chapters, because I don't maybe have the same connection to the collegiates. Yeah, I think sometimes district directors seem to have a better pulse on things. So it's a good thing, Vito.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
agree with
set
that.
myself up with that one.
District directors do have a better pulse because RVPs, there's several different chapters to check up on. It's hard to really understand the specifics or to know the specific issues of each one of those chapters. So relying on each of the DDs to like know those specifics, so the RVP just kind of has a high level thought, then that creates that regional team, which is a strong dynamic. It's almost, I like to even think of the regional team as an alumni chapter on in itself.
I'll make sure they hear that loud and clear, Cody. What about you, Kenneth?
Well, the first thing that popped in my mind with how you were saying that, what should we know is like there's certain points of the year that we know that people's going to be busy. So if it's going to be, hey, this week I'm going to be MIA, just let us know that you're going to be MIA. All of us get to that point. Heck, I think you've done great. I don't think I have any negative things to say about you.
This is not about me. Leave me out of this.
I know, but still. But it's like others are just, hey, if I send an email, just do some type of acknowledgement, or if I just see that MIA, or like I try to stay on social media with most people. So sometimes I realize, hey, you're not really having the best week, so I'm not going to put any more issues on you. So I might kind of circumvent and just go right to the chapter president if I have any questions. But it's just figuring out how we work together.
Well, that works. That works two ways. You know, if I know you have something going on, I'm just gonna be like, I'll tell Kenneth when it blows up or when it's getting bad or when
Yeah.
it's been handled.
But then again, if I get a text, it's like, can we talk after work? It's not really that bad, but we need to talk tonight. It's like, okay, so you want to talk right now?
A quick story is I think I got to the point where I told Anna, if it's an emergency, I'm gonna call you. But if it's a bad emergency, I'm gonna text you that, hey, I'm gonna call you and you need to answer, just so she can be sitting down when we have that conversation. I think that's caring and thoughtful. But no, that's great. This. Sorry. Oh my gosh. What is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? What? I don't know what some of your undergrads asked at this point. They're confusing me. Let me go back to a different question. What's one of your
Would that
favorite
be 24
DSP?
miles per hour?
Yeah, you know what? That was your chapter that asked that. So
I had to Google it real quick.
what is one of your favorite DSP memories during the pandemic? No, they weren't gonna be easy on you. They're like, oh, they can easily say one from before the pandemic, but I'm interested to know this.
Technically, when did the pandemic start?
I think they're going with like March 2020.
Haha. Okay, Anna, you can go.
I was just thinking about, I have very vivid flashbacks of meeting with the North Central provincial team in that time frame, and just like wondering, how in the world are we going to do what we do and not do it in person? And I just remember thinking that it's not going to be possible, and yet here we are. So I think that I am, even if not everyone necessarily agrees with how things worked out every single step of the way, I think that we did a good job at adapting, and I think we're in a good spot now with being able to be virtual until things go back to normal.
So your favorite memory is that CMP call, that NCP call when you guys were like, what we're gonna do? Is that the favorite memory?
Yes, of the pandemic. Yes.
Which memory are you gonna pick, Cody? Because I've heard you had a ball during the pandemic.
I had a ball. What are you referring to? I don't even know. My favorite memory, the pandemic started March 2020. Many of the chapters couldn't initiate anybody because people were going home, not doing initiation ceremonies. And so the next semester, the beginning of fall, we've never had a regional initiation done at the very beginning before, and was kind of able to coordinate some sort of big group initiation over Zoom, so that way to formally more initiate those who weren't initiated in the spring 2020 then. And I thought that was a pretty core thing, and I kind of really liked kind of seeing alumni coming together and a few of the collegiate chapters coming together to do that. While also seeing there were a couple of other alumni of collegiate chapters who were able to kind of safely do a social distance one too, and that's kind of fun to see as well.
What about you, Kenneth? Any fun stuff over the pandemic, DSP wise?
I think it's just seeing how all the chapters have evolved, and each one kind of does the different options that nationals give them, like being able to do rituals or to being able to do chapters, or some of them might be doing hybrid. So they figured out how they can get most of their brothers involved in one way or another. So I think that's a huge hit. But why I had asked about when did the pandemic start? Really, it started February, January of 2020, because I'm even thinking like I knew a few flight attendants. Well, they were getting to the point where they didn't want to fly overseas. Even when I was at Baltimore, even on the newspaper, it was talking about some virus starting. At that point, it's like, okay, there was a virus. Why are we talking about that? Okay, now 2 years later, I totally understand why we were talking about it. The news was talking about it, but it's just kind of how one little thing can change. It's like we're always so excited about being together. Then it's like, oh crap! Now it's like I want to be together, but can you stay a few feet away from me? So it's just kind of unique, but I think it's just how we've all evolved. I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay. Just because we're almost out of time, let me ask you guys one question that this question came from not your region. So it got submitted by one of your regions, but did not come from the one that I'm going to ask the person to. So Anna, basically this chapter is saying they've gone through a few DDs. They now seem to have leadership that they can trust and they like. Given that they've been through a few DDs, they might end up getting a new one based on what they can see. Since they've now moved their chapter to having year-long elections, would you as an RVP take into consideration their feelings about keeping the same DD? Obviously, if the DD wants to stay, if they're not going anywhere, whatever, would you at least hear them out?
Absolutely. I think that the chapter knows themselves sometimes better than I do. So it's important to take into consideration what they're thinking and what they're feeling. And I, especially in that specific scenario that you outlined where they've already switched DDs, it sounds like multiple times as of late, I would definitely consider that to be a factor in my decision-making process. So yeah, I think that their opinion is important when it comes to appointing district directors.
Copy. Hey, Mr. Heimerdinger, this chapter wants to know. Okay, I'm really starting to hope. I know this chapter ain't mine, but I'm hoping they ain't talking about me. I don't know this chapter, but Mr. Heimerdinger, this chapter's DD is not this chapter here. Their DD is kind of mean to them. what should they do?
Well, they should. That is a good question. What should they do? They should talk to me, of course.
Yes.
They should, of course, talk to me, and I would love to see if I could have a conversation with them to see if we could maybe make them
Like,
less mean, or they could see if there's a way to work with both of them to see maybe the DD's being unnecessarily mean. Maybe there's a reason why that DD is being mean, but the chapter doesn't know, and so we're just gonna have to hash that out and kind of figure out what the value of what's such meanness is that needs to be defined, I suppose.
the chapter isn't on here, but the person who submitted the question for the chapter is on here. Tell them to just call their RVP and just send the text messages to them and just go there. Just how about this? Just send the screenshots to your RVP and see what happens. There you go. You only have
That
to
was
have a conversation.
that was my bottom line. That's
Yeah.
great
I
summary.
think all three RVPs might agree with that response. And then Kenneth, this chapter is really down on their luck. They feel like they just have been neglected by their region and the fraternity over the years, and now they're getting hammered on, and they kind of lost morale and hope for the future. What do you as their RVP have to say to them? Well, you're not their RVP. Let me just make that clear. It's not your chapter.
Yeah. For me, it's let's first have a discussion. I think that's going to be the biggest thing, so we can get on the same page of, okay, this is where we were at. Where do you want to get to? Because the perspective of where the RVP wants you to go, there's the perspective of where the DD wants you to go, there's the perspective of where nationals want you to go, but where can you go as a chapter? To me, that's the biggest thing. Yes, getting to accreditation as a minimal is the most important. Do I want you always to get the accreditation? Yes, but if you haven't got accredited in the past 5 years, is it going to be possible the next year to get to the accreditation? Well, technically, yes, but hey, if you've been having issues doing professional events, you've only been able to do 2. Like, hey, let's work on getting you up to, let's say, 5. Like, yes, 7 would be ideal, but hey, you've been able to achieve 100% more than what you're able to do. So let's work on those small goals. And your RVP should be behind you. It's like, hey, we've only been able to do 30% of the activities in the past year. We're now up to 80%. That is real progress. And then the next year after that, you've already reached that 80%. You figured out how to do that. So now let's get that last 20%. So it's working on the small goals to be able to get to the big one. That's the one thing in my HR days is you can only do so many tasks at once. It's really going to be 2 to 3 for the year in the big perspective that you're able to actually accomplish. So figuring out those small goals to figure out where you want to go in the end. That's the biggest thing. And that's also a way of, hey, you've done this big event. Let's put it on social media. Share it with us. It's like, I'm obviously on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm looking at what my chapters do, and I'll put it in the story for the East Central region, or even put it on my personal stories. So it's to get your word out, get your name out. So that's the biggest thing is, let's see what you can do to make your chapter happy.
Aw, you guys are gonna get me all emotional here. No, those are great answers. We're gonna have one more question that's RVP related, and then a quick fire of 3 fun questions, and then we're gonna end it. So the question is, and y'all ain't gonna like this question, but it's a question. Basically, quick couple second pep talk to a chapter. They say, or the DD comes and tell you, hey, this chapter voted that they might want to give up their charter. What do you want to say to that chapter right in that moment? And be nice. Don't be a jerk is basically what I'm saying on that one. But what do you say to that chapter? someone that's either voted that they want to get rid of their charter or they're thinking about it. You as their RVP. They're listening.
I would probably say, okay, and can I ask them why, what value are you not getting from the chapter? Is it something that is fixable? Like, can we re-engage the current brothers within the chapter and pivot a different direction so that way the chapter is doing stuff that they want to do and continue to be a chapter? And if there is, then let's do that. If there's not, then let's not think about that until we do the other step. So push that other thought off.
Good answer. Whichever one you two want to go next.
I'm just perplexed by that question because I would not see that as, hey, one day everything's going well, the next day, hey, let's just give up. So to me, there has to be more of a backstory on what's going on.
Basically,
but
you
it-
just get told by the DD, like, yo, this just happened. Like, it's probably been leading up, but this is definitely what
Yeah.
you're about to be told.
Yeah, well, hopefully my DD would have came way before that situation, but it's kind of a, okay, we have this, we're gonna have an emergency meeting of everybody to get together so we can talk. Because there could be some massive communication problems that we need to resolve. It could have been that there's some other issue that's going on. Maybe it could be, hey, can we just take a semester off so we have a cooling down period? Because it's a big deal to give up your charter. So it's looking at all those perspectives. Hey, look at, do we need to have, I'm going to call it midterm elections of, hey, do we need to have different leadership to go in? Because sometimes people get burnt out, or they thought they could do this for, but they can't. So let's look at all the possible options before we go down that final path. But then if it is the choice of the entire chapter at the end, then we can then look at those final steps.
Your last one up, Anna. DD says that they're going to give up their charter. They're not feeling so great as a chapter. What do you guys say to them?
I think there would be a lot of questions first, but in general, I think we need to remind them all the benefits of being part of an organization like DSP. You know, networking opportunities, the brotherhood aspect of things, the professional development, and maybe whatever this fake scenario is, there's a chapter that's lacking in one of these areas, and we need to just bring them back to focus and remind them maybe why they joined, and work to get them back to getting benefit out of it, like Cody said.
When you say work to get benefit out of it, you mean when you say we, you include yourself in that, right?
Yes,
You RVPs.
RVP, DD, necessarily other volunteer leaders. I don't know if central office needs to be involved, but whoever needs to help the chapter will get behind them.
They said heard. So rapid fire, 3 quick questions. 1, what is your preferred steak doneness? 2, pineapple on pizza? Question mark. And 3, if you could pick where the next GCC is going to be location wise, where do you have it? So let's start with the steaks.
Medium rare.
Preferred medium, required medium well.
Yeah, medium for me, just medium.
Under what circumstance should steak be well done? By choice.
If I'm feeding it to my dog, my dog could have it.
You don't even have a dog. Okay.
If I did
We
have a
get you.
dog though.
I don't know. Kenneth, Anna, are you guys rocking with well done steaks, or you think those people need divine intervention?
Well, it depends. Was it your special someone that attempted to make a nice dinner and they messed it up and you had to be nice?
They went to Outback and ordered it well done.
Are we allowed to say what we're thinking?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's what y'all
No
doing.
idiots. You spent that much money for that?
Specifically, guys, a filet mignon well done with American cheese on it. By choice.
Not okay.
I think y'all know who submitted that question. One of y'all do. Pineapple on pizza, though?
If it's your pizza, you're gonna have it however you want.
Yes, all the way. Pineapple is definitely on pizza.
Well, wait, that doesn't apply to the steak situation, though? Like, pineapple on pizza is one thing, but well done steak is like, hold the heck up now. And what about you? Pineapple on pizza?
Nope.
No.
Big nope.
All right, Zai.
Sweet and
If you send you
savory.
pizza, they won't have pineapple on. And then you guys get to choose. Where's the next GCC gonna be?
You want to make? Yeah.
Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Really? We probably already had a GP pull that move. Come on, you're just gonna put in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. It's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
I'm
where the
wearing my
academy,
I'm wearing my Grand Rapids lead shirt actually, so it's fitting.
Grand Rapids, home of the Michigan Academic Super Tournament. That's where we're gonna have lead, according to Anna. Okay. Kenneth.
Well, I could do a toss-up between two different places.
Mhm.
They're both in Massachusetts. One's going to be Salem, just because I like Salem, and the other one would be Provincetown, because I like Provincetown. But I don't think we could actually have a place that would hold all the brothers in Provincetown, so it'd have to probably be Salem.
I could actually see that end up happening. I could see that one. Mr. Heimerdinger.
If it was up to me, let's see. I'm trying to think, like, what would be a good city? Something completely, would it be a city never done before? Something like completely out of the box. I was thinking Wyoming, because absolutely nothing's in Wyoming. So you're just gonna have like a complete like cowboy GCC. Well, instead of a hotel, it's gonna be tent city all over the place.
Not
And
gonna
the
happen.
boardroom.
Mm-mm. Not gonna happen. Not gonna
Cody.
happen. Not gonna happen.
Cody, Wyoming's a state. We can just start there. You need to click a city, man.
You know, Cody, Wyoming.
God almighty. Jesus help us all. All right.
Well, you
Well,
did ask the question, so you got the
Uh,
honest answer.
I forgot. Y'all keep in mind, people, I DD for all three of them at the same time. Can y'all send a prayer up? Because God almighty. All right.
Well,
no,
the
that's-
Cody,
I was also gonna say,
Wyoming.
I see Hawaii in the chat. One of my other thoughts was Cabo San Lucas. Just make it go international.
We are the international fraternity of Delta Sigma Pi.
Yeah.
That could be our first step going back international. I mean, I'm just saying.
Mm.
That one we can rock with you, Cody. Cody's back in
Yeah.
the family. Before we sign off, is there anything else you want people to know about you guys as RVPs in general? You want your DDs to know, your chapters to know, because you know at least 5 of them are going to definitely see this recording and have it live streamed.
I'm gonna say biggest thing that I'm thinking is enjoy your collegiate life, enjoy life after collegiate, get involved as an alumni with whatever perspective that you see fit. And yes, there's going to be times that you kind of delve off and get into your own life, but that's normal. But just remember why you had joined DSP. DSP isn't 4 years, it's for life.
Anna, Cody, any final words for your undergrads and alumni and other brothers?
My final words is I love you all, and thanks for coming.
Yeah, my advice kind of goes off of what Kenneth was saying. You get out of your DSP experience what you put into it. So enjoy it, work hard, and do what you need to do to get value out of it too. So thank you, everyone.
Any words for your alumni brothers? I got messaged and said, don't forget about the alumni, so I just had to put that out there. You love them too, basically.
I'm gonna say
Everyone
for
else
Yeah.
alumni, it's the same thing, I think. But it's like, if you want to get involved in any way possible, just kind of reach out to us. So it's the biggest thing, and just enjoy life. Do what makes you happy.
And also too, don't forget to reach out to the ones that you know. If you happen to be traveling, maybe stop by, say hi. If you're in the area, reach out to them. I'll make sure to do the same. Hold me accountable to do the same as well.
This is being recorded, Cody. You should just remember that.
Oh, I know.
Any last words, Anna, for your alumni brothers?
No, nothing specific.
Copy. Well, guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you, Anna, Kenneth, and Cody, for sitting down. It's only the second time I think all four of us, I've talked to all three of my RVPs at the same time. Have a good night. Please be safe out there. And before the chatter starts, wait for the tone.